Joey B, man, with stats in hand, spilling numbers like grains of sand. Fancy talking about diamond dreams, chasing players, whispering their schemes. Oh, Welsh, breaking it down real slow, voices howling in the radio's glow. Talking monsters on the baseball field, wizards swinging bats and magic shields. Fantasy baseball in the night, podcasters giving us that sight. Question marks and stars collide, dreams of glory never hide.
Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live. It is me, Joey P. Joe P's up here. With us, of course, is the Welsh and all the peanuts and the Cracker Jacks here on our Twitch, twitch.tv/fantasypros. That's the place to watch us live Monday through Friday, noon Eastern. And of course, you can always watch on demand on our YouTube channel, Fantasy Pros MLB. Drop your comments below. You might win yourself the latest Cecil Fielder jersey giveaway from pristineauction.com when you're a subscriber and a commenter, and you might as well like the stream too. Do something nice. Again, this is from pristineauction.com. That Cecil Fielder throwback Tigres jersey. Welsh, crazy weekend of baseball. A lot to talk about. Prospecting with the Welsh. Rookies are up. The Mets are in first place. Let's just jump into it here. Let's start with the Red Sox beating the crap out of the Yankees last night. Oh boy, that was it was midnight for Yarborough this weekend, for Rodon as well. But yesterday, Narvaez, Campbell, Devers, Story all going yard yesterday. Dobbins gets a victory. Judge does hit 2 home runs, 22nd and 23rd respectively. But a rough night, which probably Rodon was due for, but Yankee Stadium, the gift that keeps on giving home runs, isn't it?
Always does, my friend. I am shocked that you didn't have Aaron Judge for the weekend home run call. That's your kind of usual run call too, by the way.
I went Soto for the weekend. Yeah, on base 6 times, and I still can't possibly get a home run on the weekend. It wouldn't have mattered if I had 2. I still would have been off the board. You had 2 for the next guy we're going to talk about. Van Rod, shout out to. Just 300 bits there and resubbed. If you haven't already, resub here. That way you get rid of those nasty commercials. The Mets. Remember when everyone was panicking about the Mets 2 weeks ago and I wasn't, which is odd because as a Mets fan, usually by June we're irrelevant anyway. But I was fine. Phillies were 3.5 games up. 2 weeks later, now the Mets are 3.5 games up. A wonderful weekend in Colorado that was very enjoyable. Tyler the Terrible pitched very well. 2 runs, 5 innings. Jeff McNeil homered twice. Your boy Pete Alonso homered twice. But despite those home runs, Welsh, you're still not on the board. What's going on? Our Peanuts and Cracker Jacks going crazy this weekend.
It's like the steroid era all over again. It's just homers left and right. It's a tough contest. It's a very tough contest of people. Tough like the Mets. The Mets have definitely been this big core piece. I think it's going to be very interesting within the next 6 weeks when teams start actively making moves, trying to keep pace. The Phillies, I think, are massively tough. Part of the reason they're down has been Jesus Luzardo's absolute implosion. But, on the surface, it's a great offense. It's a decent bullpen. It's a really good starting rotation. It'll be interesting to see if they have to make any moves, as would a team like the Mets kind of keeping pace here.
Yeah, a lot of moves are going to be made shortly here. Some teams, I think, are starting to really understand where they are, and some surprising, too. Teams like Atlanta. We're going to get to that closer situation and Strider a little later in the show. But first, I want to pop George Kirby. If you bought low on George Kirby this week, you done good. A career-high 14 strikeouts yesterday in 7 innings, 2-run baseball. Welsh, you stood by your man, George Kirby, and it's a good thing you did. He was not good in his return so far this year. This was a killer performance. You got to take the victory lap here on George Kirby. That was really something yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, just a good player. Good player has a little bit of struggle. It's going to be the same idea if like Spencer Strider turns it back around. And, it's like these massively talented players, if they're going through a rough patch and there's maybe some early connections like it was with an injury with Kirby, maybe it's not time to quite give up on them, but also it's a telltale sign of like why you would want to buy on him. He is doing interesting stuff though. 14 strikeouts in this last one, gave up almost no hard hits. He's a command savant, but he's just like scrapping that splitter. He went fastball, slider, sinker. That was 93% of his usage. That's not usually a Kirby thing, but He was pounding the zone. He had 8 whiffs on his fastball, so his fastball was just going nuts. His slider had a 45% whiff rate. He was in and out of the zone. He got these guys flying, and Kirby's it's in his head a little bit sometimes. It's really like, I don't want to walk anybody, and then he's at it, and he's always tinkering. Every year there's a new pitch. Looks like he's getting back to basics a little bit. Yeah. Massive strikeouts, and your buying opportunity definitely just kind of ended.
All right, one more pitching note to get to. Paul Skenes just can't buy a win. 7 2/3, 1 run, no earned, no decision. I mean, struck out 7. It's just, it would be funny if it wasn't so tragic. But watching Paul Skenes pitch on the Pirates is almost depressing.
How many wins do you think he'll have? Well, before we do that, how many wins do you think Skenes is going to have?
How many does he have now? Because we got about, 18 starts left for him, maybe?
Isn't it like 3? Hold on, let me look here.
The question is, does he break double-digit wins? That's the question.
He has 4. He has 4 wins, 6 losses. Okay. So, your call.
I think he can get to 10. What do you think?
So we'd set it at we should set it at
When's the last guy that won 10 games and won the Cy Young, though? That had to go back to Felix Hernandez, right? With the Mariners when they were terrible, and that was the one year where we finally said, no, wins don't matter anymore. Felix Hernandez is the Cy Young.
How many wins did he have?
I don't know. Somebody in the chat, go look it up.
Yeah, these are good things to figure out.
Let's talk about Spencer Strider. Now, I watched a good chunk of this. He started off really well, then a lot of weird luck. 4 runs, 3 earned, 3 hits, 6 innings of work. He looked gangbusters in the first inning. And I'm just saying, from what I saw, I think I'm starting to feel like he's starting to pick things up a little bit. Now, I see Jerry here in the chat saying I was offered Ian Happ for Strider. Should I accept? Absolutely not. Strider has Colorado this week. I want that start against Colorado. That, to me, is the proving ground confidence builder. The bullpen sucks. The Braves are miserable. The manager's going to get fired any minute now. I'm telling you, that's coming. Snitker is not making it out of this. I'm telling you right now. Acuna already hates him. There's a big divide in that locker room. He's done. But Spencer Strider, I don't think is. And I accepted that big trade over the weekend that I was contemplating because I wanted to see what he did in that Colorado start, and I was optimistic about San Francisco. Yastrzemski hit a ball that just hugged the line, that fell in there. Albies made an error, and all of a sudden that inning kind of unraveled on them a little bit. But what I saw to Strider was a guy that was starting to get better, and I just feel like from what I've seen from Alcantara, I'm not confident. I haven't seen McClanahan. I'm terrified he doesn't pitch at all this year. I look at Strider as the guy coming back from Tommy John who might have come back a little too soon, and maybe that's unfair. Maybe all of us were putting a little bit too much on him too quickly, and I think as the season goes on, he might start to turn things around. Now, I know some of the metrics might lie to me a little bit about this, but from what I saw with my eyes, I was encouraged. Now let's see what he brings to Colorado. What are your thoughts on what you saw to Strider this weekend?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I get what you're saying. We put too much on him, but he got re-hurt. He got re-hurt, and maybe that's the thing that we always need to keep back in mind. But
yeah,
the reason
not an arm injury with a leg thing. So he's a power leg pitcher.
Well, but that's why it's do you really are you going to push against him? Is the leg the thing that held him back? The injury from last year obviously carrying over. But there's some I don't know where I'm at with it right now because immensely talented players like Spencer Strider are going to come with incredibly high expectations no matter what. So did we put too much on him? No, it's just the gamble, the bet that we made has not paid off. And the question is this a long-term bet that can pay off, or do you need to get out? And that's where I haven't quite come to terms with. His fastball is just down. He maxed at 96.5. That's not where he was maxing last year. He was sitting 96.3 last season. He threw his slider only 24% of the time in this last start, and he still got away with it. He's struggling throwing strikes. His fastball is not as dominant, and he's a 2-pitch pitcher. But he's so talented, I'm not sure I'm ready to be he can't bounce back. Just we talked about it last week. His stuff numbers are down. I think it's too short of a sample size to say that that's sticky. So I tend to be someone that would probably try to buy-ish on the low, but it's going to probably be really tough for him to be a top 10 pitcher the rest of the season, which his normal output is top 10 pitcher if that fastball is going to be like this all year. So it's good that you saw some encouraging signs. He got tons of whiffs in this one, but he's just not throwing that slider for strikes, and that's going to have to change soon. And I think it can.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, look, other things that are changing in Atlanta are the the guy who's going to be pitching the ninth inning. Iglesias is not going to be that guy. Some combination of maybe Iglesias will get another look, but Dylan Lee, Pierce Johnson, Aaron Bummer, Del Santos is back there. Look, this
Not
looks
going
like
to
a
be
complete
Kimbrel.
cluster.
They
Not gonna
cut
be Kimbrel.
Kimbrel after the first outing. He was just
Why they were mucking around with him in the first place, I don't know. But I don't like any of these guys. Welsh, do you? Is there a front runner for you? To me, this is a complete mess
I mean,
for fantasy,
Bummer.
especially.
Yeah, Dylan Lee, I think, has been the best. I think Bummer's kind of been in that role before. I guess I would probably speculate on Dylan Lee at this point, but it's bad. They've got to make a move. This is another team that's got to go out there and make a move. Call
When your
on
closer's
somebody.
last name is Bummer, that kind of tells you how the season's
Yeah.
gone for you.
Yeah.
If you're the
Bummer.
Atlanta Braves, which I love to see. I hate to see Corbin Burnes missing all of this year and let's be honest, most of next year. So Corbin Burnes, 1 year into his 6-year, $210 million deal. Well, he's going to take some time off. It's Tommy John. It's the dreaded second opinion. Welsh, this news came down Friday afternoon. I just want to get your thoughts, feelings, emotions about this as we press on without Corbin Burnes now in fantasy. I can't say that we're surprised. I thought last year at the second half, he looked like he wore down to me a little bit. Something seemed off to me. So I'm not surprised by this news, but certainly a huge loss here for the Diamondbacks, not just this season, but also next season too, especially with the way Gallen has not performed. More on that later.
Yeah, I can't share my text thread with Bogman publicly or really to any human being because it was it's a brutal blow. It will be like, I know it's too much to be like, oh, the Diamondback season's over, but that it's the piece. It'll be the ground zero of why this season is completely done. And they should be trading off some pieces. And I think teams are going to be calling on the Diamondbacks for players like Josh Naylor, who's in a 1 year, Gallen, who's going to be a free agent. That's why I've kind of talked about it before, but those guys are going to be getting called on. And the Diamondbacks are obviously trying to hold on, but I think they just lost a Red Series. So it's unfortunate. And Ryan Nelson stunk too, by the way, in his last outing, and he's the replacement.
You mentioned Naylor. It was not a piece that I thought about necessarily. What if the Red Sox came knocking for Naylor and decided they were actually in this thing? What a fit he would be in that lineup.
If they decided to not go and move Jaron Duran or something like that. I mean, they got a lot of lefties in that lineup, but 100%, if they're looking for a first baseman and they can't,
or maybe Duran for Naylor and just bring up Roman Anthony.
Well, that wouldn't happen because Duran's got 3 years of control and Naylor's a free agent. So it would have to be something completely different. But to your point, like I think the Red Sox could come a call, and I think the Diamondbacks are going to have to come to terms with it. I'm now wondering if the Diamondbacks would be comfortable being the team that opens the floodgates of the trade market. Last year it was I guess it was kind of the Marlins with the Luis Ariz trade, but then we had like a period. We just haven't had any of those. We haven't had one single one happen.
Expanded playoffs. Everybody's still like, well, we're going to hang on, see how it goes. And some of the teams that are at the bottom just don't have a lot of, like the Rockies don't have a lot of interesting pieces, unfortunately.
No. Well, and the Diamondbacks too, by the way, they have like one of the biggest payrolls in baseball. It's like a top 8 payroll in baseball.
The White Sox to deal off Robert, but he has struggled, so that's hard. Serious question from Lee G. Rest of the season, Bibee or Lugo, who would you rather have?
My immediate reaction is Bibee, but both have not been great. Bibee's under 4 ERA right now. God, his strikeout. Where have the strikeouts gone? Where have all the Cowboys and strikeouts gone? Just completely done.
What happened to her? Where'd she go? She had one song.
Who was that again? That was
actually no, that was Paula Cole. She had 2 songs. That's not fair. She had I Don't Want to Wait for Our Lives to Be Over, and then she had Where Have All the Cowboys Gone?
What was her first one?
I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. Wasn't that the Dawson's Creek?
That's all you need. Opening? You need one hit, and then put it as a theme song on a show, and you're set for life.
Every day. For the
How about leading off theme song?
Yeah. Do we get no
residuals on that? Nope. Haven't seen
0. All right, some transactions to be aware of. Spencer Turnbull got the call for the Blue Jays. Interesting only because Bowden Francis stinks, so I wonder if Turnbull's going to get a shot here. Also, Ian Seymour was called up over the weekend, too. Probably going to pitch out of the bullpen, but I just thought it was kind of interesting that they called him up. Let's see how things go. Let's just keep an eye out. Rookie Lookie, it was a good weekend for the rookies. Kyle Teal, off to a really good start. He had a bunch of walks and a bunch of hits, so great to see him up. Caglione had his hits yesterday. Ryan Ritter got called up when Tovar went to the IL, which we kind of mentioned would happen last week, and it did. And then Cade Horton allowed 4 runs in 5 innings, so not the best outing from him. I want to ask you about another prospect too, Andrew Golden of the Nationals, 26-year-old, 19 minor league games coming back from the oblique injury, slashing 288, 390, 576 with 5 homers, 19 ribbies for AAA. So apparently he's going to get Andrew Golden was reporting that Andres Chaparro, sorry, I misread that. Andres Chaparro is the name of
who the hell is Andrew Golden? I was about to have one of those moments. I'm like, I don't know who Andrew Golden is.
That's me. It's a brain fart. I was reading through it, and Andrew Golden was the post reporter about Andres Chaparro. So I had a dyslexic moment forgive me. Chaparro, let's talk about him for a second. 26 years old, a little bit older. Sometimes we see these 26-year-old, 27-year-old guys like Elko, kind of, fizzle out when they finally get the call. Is Chaparro somebody that people should be paying attention to in deeper leagues?
I don't think so. Chaparro's been up, I think. He risen with the Yankees and the Diamondbacks. It's somebody that like could get the small run, but like if I'm speculating with the Nationals, we've talked about him a couple times. Brady House would be the player on the infield that I'd be speculating on. He's in AAA. Chaparro is, I think, going to just be like a simple placeholder. Numbers are good, but this is a quad A player. As nicely as I can say, a quad A type of player. That's Some could argue even like the Otto Kempson stuff could be, but Brady House would be the guy I would speculate next on with the Nationals.
Okay, here's another one. I just got Julio for Strider from Michael. What side of that deal you like?
I think I would go Julio on that one.
I feel like I might regret that. Here's the interesting. Logan Webb versus the Dodgers or Strider versus Colorado this week. I mean, I'd have to start Logan Webb because he's been so good. But the morbid curiosity is definitely there. One more rookie note to discuss too. Nick Kurtz 2 for 3 with a 2-run homer, 3 ribbies on Saturday. He should be activated today, so keep that in mind for your lineups. And speaking of the youngins, it's time, everybody. It's time for Prospecting with the Welsh. That's right. It's the time every week where we sit down with the Welsh. He shows us some of them youngins that are coming through Major League Baseball that are going to make a big old impact. And we got to start with a guy, Roman Anthony, right now. Some of the stashes here that you want to get. Look, how he's not up, I don't know. He hit a 490-foot home run yesterday. Roman Anthony's ready. The question is, when are the Red Sox going to be?
Yeah, so just at the top, this is like a top 3 of players that you should be looking at. And, if you're talking about releasing any capital, the top 3 guys are players we've talked a ton about so far this season. Roman Anthony is number 1. If you needed a pitcher, we can move to the next guy, I suppose. Anthony's got his average still up over 280, 288, 423 OBP, 10 homers, 3 stolen bases, and just ripped off a almost 500-foot homer the other day, a 497. So the Padres, they're going to make a move at some point here, but the Red Sox are going to make a move here soon, maybe with the Padres, to get Roman Anthony in. But we'll have to see, if this is going to end up being something where they're comfortable putting out that many players, that many rookies that are out there. But that is number 1 on just this quick top 3 list.
Yes, and the other 2 names are very familiar. And the roster percentage is high, too. It's Bubba Watch. Dun, dun, dun. As always, Bubba Chandler this week. So are we any closer to seeing Bubba Chandler?
If the moon and the stars align to create this perfect source of energy that bows down onto the planet and it opens up these magical doors to another world, then Bubba Chandler can finally step out into it and be the man that we wanted him to see, and the Pirates will finally be comfortable with it. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but Bubba kind of keeps rolling. His last start wasn't super great. Strikeouts were down, but I also think you're just kind of going up and down and you're playing this weird dance at this point with him. But Bubba is still the top pitcher. There's no reason for him to be down. So that's why it could happen literally at any point. Yeah, the Bubba grade. Bubba's in retrograde. It's 100% Opie. We're waiting for the Mars and the Sun and Bubba Chandler to align perfectly.
All right, Jacob Misiorowski, the last of these big 3 names that, again, we've been waiting patiently for. Misiorowski continues to strike out everybody. The question is, when does that start happening at the major league level?
And this is another one of those. I actually think we are now at the point with Jacob Misiorowski where it doesn't matter. We're just like, can I pinpoint what it is? An injury should bring him up, but you also have Logan Henderson kind of looming out there. But that whip has gotten lower for him. The strikeouts are still going, low ERA. He's maintaining. He looks like one of the best close to the major pitchers. So that's why he's number 3. And I think he belongs in that group with Bubba and Roman Anthony. But it's going to take us to a really interesting name we're going to talk about as we do actual breakdowns of prospects that we want to be prospecting across this little landscape.
So stashes aside, let's get into it. Who's first on your list today to really start to break down of the guys that are making some noise in AAA and who knows, even below?
So we're going to start with a hitter first. We'll start with Samuel Basallo. I don't think we've talked about him all season long with the Baltimore Orioles. Catcher, but also some first base, and that's probably going to be his home, I think, into the near future. So Samuel Basallo is only hitting 252, but he's got 13 homers. He's started rattling off some really good production. He's had some injury stuff, but check out these AAA underlying things. 57% hard hit rate, essentially a 94 average exit velocity with a 116 EV. He's getting the ball in the air, which he did not do last year. He's got almost a 15-degree launch angle. The bat looks to be flying. I don't think it's out of pocket that an opportunity could arise, even though I know they've got, the Kobe Mayos and stuff. If they were to make some moves, and let's say Ryan O'Hearn gets moves or Mountcastle or something like that, that Basallo could maybe play that role of, catching occasionally, jumping over to first base, maybe even DHing if they decide to consolidate some stuff. But I'm just not sure how long they want to keep Basallo down in AAA. He got some time last year, so he's already put up 60 games in AAA in his minor league career. But young dude, still only, I believe, 20 years old, but he's in AAA. He's starting to hit homers, and he's starting to get hot.
All right, a guy that we've talked about before, but starting to make moves, Chase Burnes of the Reds, was actually promoted over the weekend from AA to AAA. Second overall pick in 2024. He has been very good so far this season. A 1.29 ERA, a .71 WHIP, 55 strikeouts in 42 innings. So could Burnes potentially push for the big leagues in 2025?
Yeah, I think that's what we have to talk about. And by the way, you only gave his AA numbers because check out this stat. On the season as a whole, he has 75 strikeouts to just 9 walks. That's like Cliff Lee level in the minors because he started in high A. He put up 8 starts in AA. So it's taken 11 starts for him to move 2 levels across the board. He's now in AAA. And I've had people ask me about him early on, and my interest is pretty minimal for redraft because you just don't know. He didn't really pitch at all last year. But they're putting him 100% on the Rhett Lauder path, where Rhett Lauder we saw in the majors about a year after he was drafted. He's in AAA right now after going 7, giving up 3 hits, striking out 6 in his last outing. He has gone 5 every start since May 2nd or higher, and he's built up, getting into that 7 range. I mean, whip has been low. He looks like one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. And legitimately, if the Reds want to make any type of push, they want to do the Rhett Lauder thing where they bring him up. I think we are going to see Chase Burnes at this point. They went 3 starts to AA. They went 8 starts to AAA. Maybe it's going to be under 10 starts, which might not give you a bunch, but there's also the possibility maybe over the next 4 or 5 starts, you just say, screw this. Let's get him in the rotation. Chase Burnes, we're going to see at some point this season. So we need to get him on the radar. That's the big thing.
All right, let's talk about Quinn Mathews, who was on my radar in the beginning of the year, but unfortunately injuries kind of slowed him in 2025. What's his status now? And the Cardinals are a team that, starting to come back down to earth just a little bit recently.
Yeah, well, the status is he's healthy. That's been his biggest bugaboo. He hasn't been healthy. He's had some really bad outings so far this season, but his last start in AAA, 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, struck out 6, walked none. Over his last 4 starts, he's got around a 1 whip, which is really important for him. And I think they could use him in that rotation pretty soon. So Quinn Mathews is a guy that I think a lot thought we were going to see much early on. Might be a really interesting spot starter. I think it's like a post-hype sleeper now because there was a lot of hype and then there was injuries and bad production that I think we can kind of jump back on the train. Pretty good pitch mix. Going to throw 3 or 4 different pitches out at us, and strikeouts are starting to come. And I think Quinn Mathews, we're going to see, it's a possibility we see him before the All-Star break. So be on the lookout for Quinn Mathews.
All right, so who's last on the list this week for prospecting with the Welsh?
All right, last one up is Colby Thomas, and I feel like I've talked about him a decent amount. The A's have made all these different weird moves as of recent. They're bringing out, it was like Blade's down, Blade's up. They bring up Logan Davidson. They brought up a ton of different guys. So the guy that we haven't seen is Colby Thomas, and I think we should soon. Even Denzel Clark they brought up, but Denzel Clark had like a 70% strikeout rate. Colby Thomas in AAA is hitting 306 with 15 homers. He's got 3 stolen bases. OPS is good. OBP is solid. It's around 370. He does have a strikeout walk thing similar to Denzel Clark, but he's producing at like a really, really high level. And I think with how the A's have been moving back and forth, Colby Thomas is a guy that we can see pretty soon. And in that ballpark, I think he is going to thrive with some big homers. So look out for Colby Thomas. He's a player that, again, in the next couple of weeks, I think we could be seeing soon.
He had a big Sunday, too. 3 for 5 with a homer and a stolen base, 2 runs scored, and 2 RBI. So keep an eye. I mean, he's got to be better than Denzel Clark, that's for sure. Clark has not been the answer. So those are the prospects to stash, be aware of, make moves for. This is Prospecting of the Welsh. Make sure you check out FantasyPros.com for more from the Welsh regarding prospects, and follow us on Fantasy Pros MLB for more fantasy baseball content. All right, let's take a look here at the 3 up and 3 down. We had Randy Arozarena, 3 for 5 with 2 doubles. Taylor Ward, his 18th homer. And Jake Meyers with a 4 for 4 with 2 steals. The downs, Carlos Rodon, he was a big down. 5 runs. You lose against the Red Sox in Yankee Stadium. Not good. Sugano struggled again. He's terrible. 4 runs, 3 earned, 8 hits over 4 1/3. And Zach Gallen continues to be the pit. 6 2/3 innings. In a loss for the Reds, and that rotation right now, down Corbin Burnes. Gallen's been terrible.
Essentially down Zach Gallen.
Yeah, kind of. And when you're down and something's just not working for you, might be time to turn to Kaisertrex. That's right, because there could be signs of low testosterone, a condition affecting about 30% of adult men in America. Kaisertrex is an FDA-approved testosterone replacement therapy designed for men like you. It's not an injection. It's not a gel. It's a twice-daily pill that fits seamlessly into your active lifestyle, helping you restore your testosterone levels to optimum. Optimum, that's where you want to be. So know your T-score today and get tested by visiting kaisertrex.com/testing kit. That's KYZATREX.com/testing kit today. And it's by prescription only. Kaisertrex is a controlled substance, and it can be the target of abuse. Don't abuse the Kaisertrex. Kaisertrex is not for use in pregnant women or men with prostate or breast cancer. Safety and efficacy in those younger than 18 is not known. We might never know, nor should we know. Tell your doctor about all medical conditions and medications you're on. Serious side effects could include increased blood pressure, worsening prostate symptoms, increased risk of prostate cancer, blood clots in the legs or lungs, decreased sperm count, liver problems, enlarged or painful breasts, and breathing problems while you sleep. Common side effects, though, are swelling of the ankles, feet, or body, increased red blood cell count, and increase in prostate-specific antigen or PSA levels. PSA is a test used to detect prostate cancer. Report these symptoms immediately to your doctor, and call your doctor while you're at it, and learn more about Kaisertrex. For questions, for more information, visit kaisertrex.com or call 1-833-949-5040. Let's talk injuries here. Yuri Perez is going to be activated today. Yay! Bryce Harper goes to the IL. Boo! The wrist inflammation, a problem for Harper. So, Welsh, what's the answer in fantasy right now? You look at the waiver wire first base. Is it Toro? Is it, like, I mean, just kind of looking around, it's kind of slim pickings, I feel like, at first base. And somebody dropped Christian Walker. Maybe you want to go that route?
Yeah, I think it's going to have, I mean, league dependent is probably going to be the answer here. Because I think there are guys, but yeah, in shorter leagues, if a guy like Christian Walker was cut, that's kind of interesting.
Kurtz, maybe if you got
cut, if
maybe.
Kurtz is coming back, like Jerry said, that would be someone. I don't think like a Toro or a Romy Gonzalez in any capacity is where I'm going to try to end up finding my production from, though. I can say that.
All right. Let's get to some more questions and some more injury news here, too. Let me pull up some more here. Let's go to Zebby Mathews, who's now on the IL, right shoulder strain. That's terrible. So the Twins have lost Lopez and Zebby Mathews in the same week, basically. Awful for them. And wide open now for that Central. I'm telling you right now. So the Tigers' biggest threat was probably the Twins. Now it's up to the Royals to get that pitching on point, get Caglione hitting, and see if they can go ahead and make a run here. Jordan Westberg is trending towards returning on Tuesday. Shota Imanaga will make a minor league rehab start tomorrow as well. And Max Scherzer, maybe we'll see him in 2025. He threw 50 pitches over a 3 innings simulated game. So what do you think of Max Scherzer over under 12 starts this year?
Ooh, under. He's not able. And starts that I care about, 0. Probably 0 starts that I care about with Max Scherzer so far this year.
All right, let's get to Matthew's question here, who subscribed to the channel today. DH, Brent Rooker, Sal Frelick, or Addison Baja? Baja.
Shout out to Matthew too for the structure of giving us like how many games and versus who. Very helpful.
Very helpful. I mean, as much as you could fit in here is always good. I still go with Brent Rooker here. How about you?
I would go with Rooker, but I think why this question is this is an Addison Barger question.
Yeah, Barger's been hot.
Yeah, I don't think it's like ridiculous. Frelick gets one more game in there, but I'm just gonna say I think Rooker's bat is still too powerful, but Barger, he's hot right now, and he'd be number 2. I would still do that over one extra Frelick game.
Westberg or Shaw from Michael? I guess that's a rest of season question. Yeah, I think you got to go there. Also, sell Donovan for Pavetta. Yes, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's a good.
I mean, the pitchers.
Yeah, Donovan's great.
Dying here,
batting average and stuff. But yeah, Pavetta for sure.
Here you go. Kurtz. Christian Encarnacion has a couple good games, and people want to just be all up on him right now. Have we forgotten how terrible he's been for 2 years? I haven't. To me, CES isn't even in this conversation, Welsh. I don't know if he is for you. He's not for me. Kurtz or Cags rest of season. If you can only have, how do you rank these guys? That's interesting. How do you rank them? CES is third for me. I'd probably go Kurtz, Cags, CES. Where would you go?
You're saying Kurtz 1?
Yeah, I'm saying Kurtz 1. Because I think he was just starting to really get it.
Yeah. Okay. So my gut, I want to say Cags, but you're not wrong about that. The ballpark is so great. Kurtz really started to lock in, and I was like defending him, and now I'm going back to Cags. I just think like Cags hitting the ball super hard. 113s just left and right and doubles and stuff like that. I'm going to go with him, but Kurtz is way safer. Way safer. Kurtz is probably legitimately probably the answer because he's got upside with some floor where Cags has got all upside right now, and he hasn't presented any floor. CS is not in the discussion for me either, though.
All right, it's time, everybody, for the best bets
of the day
with Joey P and the Welsh. Let's start with Miami on the money line. Yuri Perez is back, and I want to bet on the Marlins because I'm crazy and it's a Monday. So give me the Marlins on the money line against who? The Pittsburgh Pirates. God, they're awful. If Perez goes out there, again, watch the weather in this one too. A little wonky weather potentially here. But plus 100, I like Perez. Maybe he gets the 5 innings. If he does, I think they can hang on because Pittsburgh's just god-awful offensively. Toronto on the money line too, minus 112. Barrios has a 3.04 ERA on the road. They are on the road today. His ERA is actually a full run higher at home this year, so that's interesting. The Oppo splits there. And then Corbin Carroll for an RBI plus 115. He's got a 638 slugging percentage against righties, and he's got a righty on the mound today. So those are my bets. Welsh, what are yours?
By the way, yeah, shout out to Wonky Penguin and Wonky's brand new emoji. We got the Wonky emoji because you said the Wonky, then Wonky, but not the Wonky Penguin.
There you go.
I will also play in the Arizona Diamondbacks realm, but I'm going to go Arizona Diamondbacks run line minus 1.5. So that's to win by 2 runs. It's plus money. I'm always picking on Emerson Hancock. I will be picking on him a little bit later in the home run calls as well. But give me Arizona to win on the run line plus 119. They are out for blood right now, and they can't pitch, but they got their best pitcher out there right now. It's Merrill Kelly going today, but it's all offense they're going to need to play. I'm also going to go with the A's, first 5 money line. So for them to, obviously, they could be tied, but to be winning through the first 5 innings. And the reason behind it, you've got Kikuchi and Jeffrey Springs. We talked about this. Jeffrey Springs has an over 5 ERA at home, but on the road, has a 3.8 ERA. So I'm going to back Jeffrey Springs and the A's here. Big plus money. These are all plus money plays. And then I'm going to go Wilyer Abreu over 1.5 total bases at plus 115. Wilyer Abreu slugging against righty. So Wilyer Abreu plus 115, A's first 5 money line plus 120, and Arizona run line minus 1.5 plus 119. Those are my best bets for Monday.
All right, everybody. Don't forget, make sure you bet responsibly and go to fantasypros.com/leading off. On FanDuel, new customers bet $5. Get $250 in bonus bets if you win. And while you're at it, download the Betting Pros app. Get the 7-day free trial for Betting Pros Premium today. You get the prop bet cheat sheet, the Betting Pros systems, same game parlay builder, Sharp AI, and so much more. Do it today. Use the promo code leading off to get 7 days free of the premium tools over at Betting Pros, of course. Download the BP app. It's great. All right, let's take a look at the home run board from the weekend, see what we got here. Wonky Penguin at 21, still alive. Everyone's nice. At 20. George just about to crack 30 at 29, far out at 28, right on George's heels. I am going to go today with Corbin Carroll, plus 340 for my home run call. Again, the Sammy Sosa jersey from Pristine Auction is up for grabs. Welsh, Where are you going? You're 1 away from being back on the board. I am now 3 away after a stone cold weekend. Very disappointing.
I'm going to stick in that same game, but I'm going to go on the other side. Well, actually, I'm saying on the Diamondback side, but the other side of the lineup, Ketel Marte. Ketel Marte has been absolutely ridiculous on that homer front. He's going to be hitting at the top of the order. It's Emerson Hancock, and it's Ketel Marte. Let's go 2 for a Marte Parte and get me back on that board for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's funny. I was gonna go Marte now. If you get Marte and and Carroll doesn't go, I'm gonna be very salty tomorrow.
Pissed.
Very salty. Shout out to Fabby Davis Jr. who just subbed as well. And again, reminding everybody, it's the week of appreciation here. Go ahead, wherever you get your podcast. If you listen, make sure you drop a nice 5-star review. If you watch on the YouTube channel, like the videos, drop your comments, subscribe, do all those fun things. Help us continue to grow this channel here. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers. Maybe we could do it this year. It's possible, but it's only possible with all of your help. Good Monday. Tomorrow, we'll see how Yuri Perez did. We'll see who else gets hurt. It's a lighter slate of games, but still a lot of baseball to talk about. So we'll be back tomorrow with more of it. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For the Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.
Peace.
I want to see that text chain between you and Bogdan. I want screenshots.
No, sir. Delete.
Why? I'm in the inner circle. Am I not in the inner circle?
That's
After all
true.
these years?
I won't send it. I'll let you look at it.
Oh, that's what. Never
Snapchat
mind.
goes away in 20 seconds.